I feel like dancing. Makes you want to dance.
I stopped hearing the music.
You can't hear
Look, Bree over here dancing.
When it first started. Oh, there we go.
All right. Give it a moment for folks to come on in. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Friday edition of the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. It is Friday, y'all. We have just about done it. We have almost wrapped up yet another work week. I pray that it was productive, that you are pleased with where you are in your week, and that you are prepared today to put a bow on this week. Wrap it up, do the things that need to be done, and prepare to slide into the weekend to recharge your battery and give your body, give your spirit, give you what you need to prepare to continue to move forward, to have a blessed, relaxing weekend and charge up to do it all over again next week, whatever it is. You know, life can be that way. One day after the next, they kind of feel the same. So take a moment to focus on what that feeling is. Is it the feeling that you desire? Are you seeing the things that are important to you, the people that you want to be around? Are you going in the direction that you would like to go? If the answer to any of that is no, I'm going to encourage you to lean into your ability to focus. Focus is a superpower. Focus gives us the opportunity, with clarity, it gives us the opportunity to accelerate our path towards whatever it is that we're working towards. Anything that you give your focus to, anything that your resources are focused on, you're going to do better. You know, you'll spend more time with it. You'll spend quality time with it. You'll increase your output. You'll increase your accuracy. You just do a better job when you're single focused. Let's see. My mom said, good morning, fam. I'm on the road, so no comments today. Carry on. I love you guys. Good luck in your show today. Sell out, sell out, sell out. Focus on staying at your booth and selling your items instead of being the social butterfly floating around buying everybody else's woman. Sell your stuff, clear that table, come back with an empty car because you have sold out, and everyone's spaces will be blessed with those beautiful scents that you create. So I'm excited to hear about it later, how today goes. My prayer is that you're worried at the end of the day. How are you going to make it through the next few days? Because so much of your inventory is already gone. So that's the goal. That's the goal. That's the focus for today for Aromatic Visions. She's doing a vendor event. So they've been packing up and taking all of her stuff down, and it looks so good the way they get it set up. So prayerfully today she'll come back and go, I've got to make more stuff. I don't have enough to make it through the next 2 days. So that's the energy that we're sending your way, Mother. Have a beautiful experience and bless all those people's homes with those candles and room sprays and all that goodness that you create. Conchita says, fabulous Friday, everyone. So grateful for another amazing day. Me too, Conchita. It's Friday. I'm like, okay, I know what I need to get done today to wrap things up in different areas of my life. And I know that this weekend I'm kicking back. I'm getting some stuff done, preparing for an impromptu vacation that has come up. I'm going on a cruise, not next week, but next weekend for 6 days with my sister and a whole bunch of hometown friends and family. So I'm excited about that. So I have to focus. I have to put a bow on the things that I've got going on so I can go away, enjoy my trip, and not be worried about, did I do this? Did I do that? Somebody's trying to get in touch with me because they need that. No, we're going to be locked in from now until I leave next next Saturday to really make sure that I'm wrapping up things so I can be free of mind, free spirit, connected to the people that I'm with, and we have the opportunity to just enjoy each other's company in beautiful scenery out at sea. I think we're going to Belize and Costa Maya, and on the way back, I think we stop in Cancun or Cozumel, one of those. They're so close together, but I'm excited. Some more tropical weather and views, water, sun, all the floral beauty. So I'm excited about that. A week ago, I wasn't going. So look at God. It all worked out that I had a chance to, at the last minute, kind of slide into this trip. So I am so excited about that. Let's see. Oh, Kim said, dropping my dog for surgery, listening in on my AirPods. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, Kim, and prayers that your doggy is okay and recovers well. So your weekend is probably going to be busy taking care of your dog and getting him back to good health. And Conchita says, yes, Mama J, sales. Exactamundo. All right, let me see. We have Miss Diamond Diva. I know that's Cynthia. That is Cynthia, who makes us all bling and shine and walk in our glory. So thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for following. I think the account that I invited you from, you were already following me from the other. So the rest of you, take Cynthia's lead. If you're not following, follow. Take this opportunity to share the live, push it out to wherever you're watching it from. Share it with your audience. Let's grow this community. I believe with everything in me that great stuff is happening here. I hear your comments. Some of you guys I know off platform. We have each other's phone numbers. You call me, you direct message me, and you've been telling me how this has been a blessing to you. So when we are blessed, we pass it on, right? So share this blessing with the folks in your life individually. If you know somebody who would really benefit from this, talk to them about it, invite them in. And then just in general, share it to your page so your audience has the opportunity to see what you're doing right now, and they can jump on and get a little bit of this goodness if they are so inclined. Good morning, fam, is what we're hearing from Sonia. Welcome. Always good to see you, my friend. And I think we're ready to get this thing started. Let me share today's quote with you guys. It's how I'm feeling, short and quick and to the point. Let's get it done because there's lots of stuff to do. It's a nice short one. Success demands singleness of purpose. Vince Lombardi. Singleness of purpose is the definition of focus, right? When you are focused on a thing, you're saying yes to that thing. And in that moment, you are saying no to everything else. You have dedicated a period of time for a particular task, for something to get done. I'm going to write this book. I'm going to write this song. I'm going to build this website. I'm going to work out. I'm going to meal prep, whatever it is that is your agenda. If you can do just that and do it well, that singleness of purpose will increase your opportunity for success and accelerating your opportunity to success. When we're multitasking and we're trying to do a whole bunch of stuff at once, one, we're fooling ourselves because we just can't. I know a lot of people argue with me about that. Multitasking is a skill. We've learned to do it. No, you haven't. You've learned to switch context really quickly, but you're only doing one of those things at a time. There may be all the things going on at the same time, but at any given moment in time, only one of them truly is holding your attention. And while that one's holding your attention, the other things are falling away. And then you have to jump to those. Try cooking, watching the baby, and seeing your favorite show. Then the phone rings. You think you're multitasking. You're doing 4 things at once. But if you get too deeply into that show, the baby crawls away, the food starts to burn. You have no idea what's happening with the folks on the screen. You go and grab the baby. Now you're not paying attention to your friend, right? They're pouring their heart out to you. They're trying to tell you what's going on. And you really need them to repeat it because you didn't quite catch it because something else had grabbed your attention in that moment. That's what multitasking really looks like. I had myself so fooled. I said for years that was my secret sauce. I could do many things at a time. What I think, but that's just what I thought. What is actually happening is my attention is diverted quickly from one thing to another, and I'm only giving part of me to any of those tasks. Imagine how much better I would do a thing if it got all of me, right? It wouldn't take as long for me to complete it. It would be done more accurately, I would do a better job. And that's why that singleness of focus is what Vince Lombardi was preaching. That's how you become successful. There's so many different quotes from so many highly successful people in business and other areas. And they all say something similar to this. You hear things like successful people say no to almost everything. It doesn't mean that they're crabby. It doesn't mean that they're a guaranteed no. It means that they're focused, they're driven, they know where they're going, they have that singleness of purpose, and they pour themselves into that. And while they're pouring into that, everything else fades away until the designated time, right? If I'm going to write for an hour, I need to write for an hour. That doesn't mean take a phone call. That does not mean check my email. Hear the best I'm just writing for that hour. That's the commitment that I've made to myself. So all of my resources go into that. That's what gets my focus. When we can retrain our brain, and it's not easy because we are so accustomed to the sound bites that our lives have become. Commercials need to be quick. If you're posting to social media, you better make your point in the first couple of seconds or you lose your audience because no one pays attention for very long. It's absolutely amazing that you guys hang around for an hour every day, 4 days a week. It's absolutely amazing. But even as you're doing this, you can ask yourself, am I focused? Am I really taking it in? Remember the quote, the statistic I've given you multiple times. When people come into spaces where they're learning something, it could be reading a book, taking a class, going for a certification. I have to refocus myself many times a day, especially on Thursdays. I'm in class. I'm getting my life coaching certification. And the class doesn't begin until 7 p.m. and it's for 2.5 hours. So I've worked all day. I've done as much as I can in this space. And then at 7 p.m., I need to sit down and focus for 2.5 hours to 9:30 p.m. every Thursday evening. You can imagine. I want to grab my phone and see what's going on my socials. Oh, did somebody new just sign up for my group? All these things are going on in my head. What do I need to do to prepare for tomorrow? What time is my first meeting in the morning? Oh, did I remember to send out the link for the event today? All these things. And if I am allowing those things to grab my attention, I am not hearing what the instructor says, right? So now I've got to pull myself back in, try and catch up and get back with what's happening in the class. But if you are aware of yourself and you're tapped into your thoughts, you can catch yourself quickly when you do start to drift away and bring yourself back in. Sometimes I lean in, the cameras are on, I lean in a little bit closer to force myself to focus. I'll sit up in my chair, I'll grab a sip of water, but it's right here. I bring with me the things that I need so that I don't get distracted and have to get up and go away. Create your environment, set yourself up for success. And when you find yourself drifting, just gently bring yourself back. Lovingly bring yourself back. All right, girl, we've got another 30 minutes before we get a break. We can do it and get right back in it. What we have a tendency to do is get mad at ourselves. And then we start having a whole nother dialogue in our heads about why we can't focus. If you don't focus, you're going to be wasting your time and your money. And now you're even less focused because you're arguing with yourself. Give yourself some grace. Give yourself the space to bring it back to center, back to what you should be focused on, and get right back in the conversation. We have the ability to do that. That singleness of purpose is harder than it sounds because our brains are no longer trained to operate that way. But we can retrain them if we choose to do that work. And we'll talk about how we can go about doing that before we wrap up today. I see another comment has come in. Let's see. Dr. Marcia say good morning, everyone. Thank you for being with us, Dr. Marcia. It's always good. Can't wait to see what nuggets you're going to drop with us as we go through. We are talking about focus. Success demands singleness of purpose. All right, Denise, I will go ahead and quiet myself so that I can focus in on what it is that you would like to share with us this morning.
Good morning. Happy Focus
Hello.
Friday. Good
Happy Focus
luck. Good
Day.
luck to Mama J on her vending. Good luck to the puppy surgery. I hope everything goes well
Yes.
for you guys. And like you said, Cassandra, I hope she don't have none. I hope she's struggling to get through the extra days because she sold so much.
Yep.
So I was laughing as you said, you want her to focus on sales. When I used to do vending with my son, he would send me out. He'd say, "Go ahead, do what you like to do, which is talk to people and socialize and buy other people's stuff," because then those people would visit our booth. It wasn't a
Mhm.
strategy; it was just my personality. So me and Mama J must be a lot alike. I could not
You
sit.
are. She is. I just want to nail her feet to the booth. And if she has the
I
right
could
person
not
with
sit
her,
at
it's
the
okay,
booth.
right? If she's got the right person, they can do
Right?
that. She can float and attract people over, but she can't do
Yeah.
both if she's on her own. I'm like, woman, sell. You are there to
It's
sell,
just such a
not to
natural
shop.
part. A social person likes to go out and talk to people. You forget why you're there, so you all
Exactly.
you're floating around talking to people like, oh wait, I'm supposed to be here for business. I'm supposed to be selling my stuff. So I
And
have to
following those
laugh.
shiny objects, which are all over the place because there's booths all around her.
Right. Well, being a part of your community, being part of your show has helped me so much with focus. It's interesting, this quote, when it talks about the singleness, some of the things I've been doing, one of the things I remember for myself, because I will um make myself a list. And what I've
Hmm.
done now is I've started to make a list at night. I always know what I'm focused on in the morning now. I didn't used to. I would wake up and be like, my mind would be all over the place. What am I supposed to do today? I always start out with a walk because that helps me clear my mind. It helps me get my juices flowing. I focus on that physical activity first, which gets me started. But it never fails that as I begin my day and as I look at all of either the tasks that need to be done for one project or the fact that I have more than one project, I feel that little bit of angst. I feel that little bit of anxiety. So that was where my list first came in. And now what I realize is to truly, truly focus, to have that singleness going on so that I can, like that singleness of purpose, in
Hmm.
order to focus up after a couple of hours, I have to walk away. I don't
Yes.
actually even make it a couple of hours. You and I have talked about that. I still do my time blocks, but I used to do about an hour, hour and a half. And I just don't time block myself off for more than an hour now because I realize for me, my little cat meowing self, I can't do an hour without having a little bit of distraction or starting to look around. So I'm at about 45 minutes to an hour. And then I'll just take a little spin and then I'll sit back down. Clears my mind every time. And it's helped me be so successful that at the end of the day, like last night, when I got to the end of the day, I worked a little late last night on purpose because I knew I couldn't get it done, without having a long night. So I
Hmm.
stayed up a little bit later. Um, and when I was done, I was like, look at you, girl. Like I kind of had to do my own little cheering for myself, pat myself on the back. And I slept like a baby because of it, because I had gotten through that little extra. And I woke up this morning, looked at my list, and I was like, okay, we're ready to jump in again on that one single task. And my time block today is about an hour and 10 minutes. We're going to see how I do with that extra 10 minutes. So I love the quote. That's really all I wanted to say. It's just a reminder. Brian said it really well yesterday. He was like, you got to do what works for you and not
Yes.
feel bad about it. What works for you? 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, time blocks, no time blocks, walking every hour, stretching, whatever works for you. Give yourself that grace that you talked about, and you keep it moving so that you, in your own tasks and in your own projects, in your own life, can feel like you've done a good job, because
Yes.
you're the first person that you have to like be satisfied with. At the end of the day, nobody else is saying, you go girl, you did well, before you say it to yourself. It might be your husband, it might be your partner, it might be your family saying, wow, you did well today. But the truth is, the only person that actually knows if you accomplished what you set out to accomplish is you and
Mm-hmm.
your maker. Nobody else knows. So if you get yourself focused on what works for you and not compare yourself to everybody else, you're going to feel real good at the end of the day that you did what worked for you. You did it to the best of your ability. And then you can set yourself up for feeling successful the next day. Because whether you've accomplished it or not, if you don't feel successful, if you don't feel like, hey, you know what, I did great today, I feel good about that. Or, hey, maybe I didn't get there like I wanted to, but that's okay. I have tomorrow. I did
Mm-hmm.
well. And you can feel good about it and you can head more toward being successful. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful weekend.
Love, love, love that share. There's a couple of things that I want to double down on that Denise just said. One of them is reiterating what Brian said yesterday and doing what works for you. Comparison is the thief of joy. If somebody else can set for 2 hours and you can only set for 20 minutes, doesn't matter. As long as you are effective and focused in those 20 minutes, you are winning. It has nothing to do with that next person. Right? So find what works for you, accept what works for you, celebrate what works for you, and do it. Get to it. Put the energy there and start to get it done. The other thing that she talked about was in her time blocks is that getting up. That is an important way for us to be productive and to stay focused. A lot of experts say, you do a short burst. If you're doing an hour, 15 minutes of that hour could be that breakaway, or even 5 minutes. You want to sit for a period of time, and then you want to walk away from what that task is, move around, get some water, do something different, because that allows your brain to relax. It allows you to recharge a little bit, to refocus. And when you come back, you have more clarity and you're going to continue to do a better job. If you do sit for a long, long time, your productivity may start to wane over that 2 hours, and you not even realize that you're getting tired. You're working a little bit harder to maintain your focus. Your creativity goes down a bit. Your accuracy goes down a bit. So it's actually healthier, more productive to do those shorter time blocks, walk away, even if it's just 5 minutes, and then come back and do another block, right? And so that was something that she said. And it was a third thing that I really, when you said it, I was like, yes, but it just slipped. Oh, lady brain, it just slipped. So maybe it will come back. So Brian saved me. Before I go to Brian, I do want to recognize Alexis is with us, AIS Publications. She says, good morning. The topic is absolutely perfect. Hit me at the right moment. Thank you once again. You are very welcome, and thank you for being with us. I think I've gotten everyone else. So Brian, we would love to hear what you'd like to share with us on Focus.
Oh, focus, Grand Rising. So
Grand
I was looking
Rising.
at a video yesterday from
Uh-huh.
a guy out of, I think he was out of Westminster, somewhere in the UK, and he was talking about focus, but in a different way. Focus about how the wealth become wealth. And when you think about people getting rich and people making success, that nobody's got any superpowers. Nobody's any more special than anybody else. They have decided to see things in a different way. They have decided to train their brain to see opportunities, to keep their ideas to themselves, to, like you always say, focus on not spending money on frivolous items, right? That's what
Mhm.
separates the wealth from the non-wealth. That's the only thing. When you think about focus, when I think about focus, I do that. I do time blocking. right? And I
Mhm.
time block because I believe if you give yourself more time, then you take more time than you need. For me, if I know I only got 20 minutes to do a thing, man, I'm gonna go and get in there and do it. Whereas if I give myself an hour, I'm gonna drag my feet, right? I'm gonna take the whole hour to get it done. So I put something in place to keep myself from uh scat cat
Wait.
spending way more time on a
Mhm.
particular thing than I need, right? So that time blocking for me, it's imperative. And another thing that you guys said this morning that really stuck out to me was multitasking. And this is what
Mhm.
I'm gonna dwell on multitasking. Because I had a guy
Okay.
that I used to work with back in Chicago, and he was a I think he had a PhD. Cord was he was a different kind of individual. But he said one thing over 2 years, and this was the only thing I remember this guy saying. And he was a smart guy, but none of the stuff that he said resonated like this one thing.
Okay.
You can only do one thing at a time.
Mhm.
One piece of material of matter can only occupy one space at a time. You can't put your hand in the same space. You can't put your right hand in the same space your left hand is in. It's impossible. Something is going to
Oh,
have to move.
taking me back to
If I put
science and
my left
chemistry
hand,
class.
yeah, I'm telling you, you can't do it. And the same thing goes for your thoughts. Your thoughts
The
are
definition of
made up of
collision.
the same matter.
Right. The
It's a
definition of
collision.
collision is two objects taking up the same space and time. That's a wreck. That's a collision. That's things bumping
Yes,
into each
that's a
other. It doesn't
collision.
work. Hmm.
That's a collision. And you know what happens in a collision, right? Destruction.
Yeah. Chaos. Hmm.
Yeah. Chaos. Exactly. Chaos ensues. So when you start thinking about focusing, look at focus not from a standpoint of necessarily I want to get this done. Look at it from the standpoint of if I don't focus, I'm not going to get anything done. For me, that resulted in my time blocking so that I could focus on that 20 minutes, right? I woke up this morning with that on my mind. I woke up this morning with thinking, man, I got all of this stuff to do and it's all rumbling through my brain. But let me tell you what I decided to do. I decided years ago that every time I got a thought, I would make a note of it, right? I
Hmm.
would put it down, I write it somewhere. And every time I get a certain amount of notes, then I take those notes and I put them into an Excel sheet and I break those tasks down into large tasks, medium tasks, smaller tasks. I do weekly, daily, right? And I give each one of them a time and I put it into that slot. That way I know I've got 20 minutes here. I'm going to do this in 20 minutes. I know I can get that knocked out in 20 minutes. That was on my mind. I can knock this out in 20 minutes. Boom, that's going to take 1 unit. Whereas if I say, okay, well, today I said I was gonna cut the grass and I was gonna do this, well, that's gonna take at least 2 hours. So that's gonna be 6 units. So now where do I fit that 6 units into my day? And then I go from day to day to day to day. And the next thing you know, you've got everything knocked out and there's no chaos. When you want to focus, you have to. It is imperative that you know what you're trying to do. Otherwise, everything runs together and you got complete chaos. Focus is
Right.
when you say multitasking, I'm like, yeah, that's just a nice way of saying you're not paying me any attention.
I wish we could give. I don't know if you have the time, but I would love to get Dr. Marcia on stage with us because she's saying I am a multitasker because my dominant behavioral trait is adapter. So she is adapting as things are happening. So I would love to have that point of view
I would
brought
love
in.
to talk about that. We could go back
So
and forth about that all day. I love it.
I would love it to hear more about, and Dr. Marcia is also can come from a clinical point of view. She didn't have doctor in front of her name for nothing, y'all. So I would love to get your point of view on it, Dr. Marcia. So maybe one Friday, because we're always talking about focus on Fridays. So maybe one Friday, if your schedule allows, you can actually join us and talk to us about behavioral traits and the fact that yours being dominant lends to your definition of multitasker. I would love to hear that. So just let me know.
I would.
Let me know if you're when you're available, and we'll get the information to you, and we'll plan a conversation around that, because I think that would be very enriching to us and to the audience. She said, certainly. Yay. I love her. And y'all, when I say that in so much sincerity. I have literally fallen in love with people that I've never laid eyes on. And you just wouldn't think it would be so, but so many of you guys are such a part of my day that you've kind of crept into my heart, and you're just a part of my daily experience. And there's no way to have people as a part of your daily experience and not have some emotional attachment one way or the other. So I hope when you guys hear me say things like that, you understand I absolutely mean that. I have fallen in love with so many people that I have never laid eyes on or never shared space with other than a virtual space. Don't know if I ever will, but you have been so impactful to me. And Conchita says, please, Dr. Marcia, tell us more. So you piqued everyone's interest. So it would be great. It would be great to have that as a topic. So whenever your schedule allows, we will have you come and enlighten us all. I'm excited about that. Excited. So I've cut you off a few times. Please continue.
Oh no, that was all I was saying. For me, there's no such thing as multitasking. I can only do one thing at a time. Even if I'm trying to cut the grass, or if I'm trying to trying to blow the leaves, right? I can only do one thing at a time. Everybody has the opportunity to do anything, but you can't do everything, right? So pick one thing, make that the thing that you're going to do, get that knocked out, and do something else, right? In business, people always, we've got this thing that we used to call scope. People always want to bring in everything to do, right?
Scope creep.
And not included in scope.
Scope creep.
It's impossible.
Mm-hmm.
Scope creep. Yes. Scope creep. I hadn't heard that term in a long time. In life is life, and life will be scope creep if you don't measure what it is that you have to do. For me, that was blocking time and making those into units. I don't look at time like most people do. Trust me. Most people hate the way I look at time. The way I see time it's relative. It's based on my emotion. So I don't rush. We don't do that. We don't get up in the morning and say, oh, we're running late. Running late for what? No, we just gonna get there when we get there. If you wanted something better than that, then you should have blocked your time better. It's too late to worry about it now. Let's just focus on where we are. That level of thinking for me has changed my life, because it's not just about an hour, right? It's actually 3 units. An hour is not just 60 minutes for me. It's 3 units of 20 minutes. So whereas most people say, oh, I only got an hour in the day. Oh, I got 3 units, right, in the day. For me, that just opened up my whole day. It doesn't take me an hour to wash the dishes. It takes me 18 minutes. So I'm not going to just sit up here and say, oh, I'm going to wash the dishes this morning. No, I'm going to wash the dishes in this first 20 minutes, which I'm getting ready to do right now. That way, that 20 minutes is done for the day, right? That unit is taken care of. And I do that for each and everything. I need to change the oil in a car. I'm not going to be able to do that in 20 minutes. It's probably going to take me an hour prep time, right? So I'm going to have to block off 3 units for that. So I can't do that this morning because I got to breathe and I got to do this and I got to do that. But when I'm blocking that time, that blocking makes all the difference for me. It has literally changed my life. I preach it in everything that I do. I tell it to my kids and they don't listen, but I still tell them, this is how dad gets done, what he gets done so quickly. And it looks like, to most people, it looks like, oh, you're never doing anything. But I'm doing a little bit all the time. I focus on one thing and I do that one thing well, right? And then I'm done. I'm gonna move on to something else. Right now, we've got a book release for Bree Monday. We got a book release Monday. We got a book dedication Wednesday. And it looked like when she first said, Dad, I want to write a book. You know, to her, it looked like, oh, Dad I just told him and he didn't do anything with it. Because she started talking about it in December. November, December, end of November, beginning of December. She said, Dad, I
Mhm.
want to write a book. I was like, oh, okay, cool. We'll write a book. But nothing happened. But she didn't see what Dad was doing in the background. Dad was fleshing out the room. Well, let me hear the story for your book. Okay, this is how I want to tell it. Okay, well, we need to organize it. Okay, well, we need to come up with the images. Well, what do you want the images to look like? Right. And a little bit over time, and the next thing you know, I bring her a book. And she said, Dad, this is the book. This is the book we wrote. Yeah, this is the book we wrote. Okay. Well, now she tells me, well, you got the color wrong here. This wasn't accurate. Now we got to go back and we got to do this. And again, I blocked that time off. I blocked that time off for the revision. Now we've got a finished product. And it looks like, how did you come up with that overnight? But it wasn't overnight, right? It was actually several units over several months with a bunch of other things going on in the process. But each time throughout the day, I took that single moment, like you were saying earlier, and I decided this is what I'm going to do right now. And that's what I did. And now we're here with her in a book, a dedication. She partnered with a school. They're excited to have her. And it's amazing what you can do when you put your mind to it, when you focus.
Mhm.
That's all I got.
Absolutely. The comments are rolling in. Let's see. Dr. Marcia says, same here. Truly appreciate you all, especially you, Cassandra. I love your authentic and gracious nature. Thank you, Dr. Marcia. Conchita says, we know, Cassandra, we love you too. Virtual hugs to both of you. Camille said, happy, fantastic Friday. Well said, Brian. Dr. Marcia says, Brian, you are truly admired and appreciated for your commitment to your family. It is very impressive. And Camille said, Denise, so wonderful to see you. Dr. Marcia said, can't see how you are not a multitasker as such an attentive father. You maybe need to take another look at how you define multitasking. And I think that's what the difference is here in defining multitasking. We're talking about in that particular moment of time, you're focused on what it is that you're doing. There are multiple things going on, and you can shift your attention from thing to thing, and successful people do it all the time. But when you carve out that time for singleness of purpose and give over yourself to a task, I believe you're going to do better at that task because your attention, your focus is not divided. You're creating it. That singleness of purpose is giving you the accuracy, giving you the focus, giving you what you need as you're poured into it. But it doesn't mean that there's nothing else happening around you. So I definitely agree with that part of it. And parenting, we are doing lots of things at once to take care of our kids. But the main thing that we're doing is taking care of our kid. While we're taking care of our kid, if we grab on to a bunch of other things, then we lose focus in that moment off the child. And the child can feel that. Mom, I'm talking to you. And I'm lost in the story on TV, or gotten pulled deeply into a phone conversation, or whatever it is. So we can have multiple things going on all at once, but the brain is giving us that. We're giving our brain our energy to that one thing. There's a difference in how we're defining it, but I want to get to the rest of her comments. Let's see. Camille says, I love that, Brian. I'm huge on waking up calm with time and with patience. Yeah, when we create all of that negative energy, I'm late, I'm running, it actually slows you down. You make more mistakes. It's a bad experience. So when you can accept where it is that you are in that moment and get to that, to where you're trying to go, and especially when you're getting your kids off to school, the less chaos you can create for those babies, the more calm and confidence that you can give them as you're turning them over to the teachers who have 18, 20 plus more of them that they're trying to manage. Don't be the parent that sends your kid all upset, all hyped up, all stressed to school every morning. You're creating, that's coming into the classroom. That's making the teacher's job more difficult. That's distracting to the other students. So when we can create that calm, create that peace, we're doing everybody a favor, especially our kiddos. I was big about that. Don't bring any drama in my house first thing in the morning. I've got to get my babies ready. I've got to get them mentally focused. And I loved when my grandson was in kinder, first grade, I walked him to school most mornings. We created a song about being ready to learn. And as we were walking, we would march to school to the beat of that song and sing as we were going. And he would end it with, I am ready to learn. And everything that they do in that at that age is so cute anyway. And I can still see him. He's much older now, but I can still see him marching with me to school in the morning, hyped up, ready to learn, excited. And we would have our own little special song, our own little special time. So that time was dedicated to that experience and creating that experience for him in the mornings. And so I blocked my time off. I didn't want to do work phone calls and other things because I knew I wouldn't get that time back. It was a special time that he was with me, and then he was going to be going off to big boy school, and they were moving and all kinds of stuff happened. I wouldn't get that moment back. So I did pour my focus into that experience, those 4 or 5 days a week, when we were able to walk to school together in the weather a lot. And to this day, it warms my heart just thinking about it. Let's see. Preparing beforehand is an objective if multitasking that person doesn't include in the series, and if multitasking. I think Dr. Marcia was typing really quickly, so I'm missing some of it. But her point at the end is mothers and leaders are experts at multitasking, and then she's congratulating you, Brian, on Bree's book and all that's coming along with that. Camille says time and habit blocking is key. Napoleon Hill always says that. And she also said 5 to 7 is my non-negotiable calm me time before the kids wake up. Isn't it something? Isn't it a great idea as a parent, as a leader, as whatever your role is, that you mentally prepare yourself before the floodgates open, before everybody gets up, before everyone rushes in, before all the requests are coming and the demand starts to be made of you. You, like Camille, have that dedicated time for self-care, self-purpose, preparing yourself for the day. I can only imagine the experiences that you create, Camille, for your family. I know the experiences that you're creating in the social space for women, helping us to get up and get moving and make good decisions for our bodies. But the key that I'm pulling out of what she's saying is all that pouring out, all of that giving that she does begins with her taking care of herself and preparing herself to show up as the best version of herself in those situations. So very good. Let's see. Dr. Marcia says we multitask by doing all the things that go in preparing her. Doing anything outside of that multitasking will definitely allow you to lose focus. Exactly. And that's what I was thinking, Dr. Marcia, is that when we were defining multitasking in our heads, we had a slightly different spin on it. But yes, I think we're landing in the same place at this point. But still, I mean, you are Dr. Marcia Thomas, so I would love to still have you with us and talk about this in more detail. I think having the opportunity that you can share the art and science behind who we are and how we show up would be very, very helpful when you're talking about behavioral traits and things that are a little bit deeper than what the average person is. I think a lot of people have had like the Briggs Myers and what color is your parachute and different behavioral type tests. But we take them, we go, oh, that sounds just like me, and then we get on back to our day, knowing how to take that information that you've learned about yourself and adjust how you show up so that you're bringing forth the traits that work best for you, your dominant traits. You're using those to your best ability, because everything can be a gift or a curse. Everything can be a blessing or a burden. And sometimes there's a very thin line between the two. We talked about this when we did the SOAR challenge. I challenged the participants to find something that they see as a negative in themselves. It could be a personality trait, it could be a habit, whatever. What is something that you see as a negative in just how you are? And then we talked about the positive side of that thing. And you can look at something that's considered a positive And it probably, like, my ability to focus can very much be a negative, because I can go so deep into my mental hole and do what it is that I'm doing, that I could do it for a very long time and block out everything else. Families ignored, other obligations ignored, because I'm just in it. When that, did I get in that creative space and it feels so good to be there, I don't want to stop. So I want to blow right through those units you're talking about, Brian. I want to blow right through the time that I have blocked, because I am in that thing, and I don't want to do anything else in that moment. So anything in its extreme, even the most positive thing in its extreme, can have negative repercussions. So the more we know about ourselves, the more we can peel back those layers and intimately become aware of ourselves and how we operate, the better we can use those traits to our advantage to help us in our journey to be more successful and really understand ourselves. So I'm looking forward to hearing more from you, Dr. Marcia, when we can get that planned. Let's see if I missed. I see a thumbs up from her. Yay, yay, yay. I think I got everyone's comments up until this point. And Denise, I know we're starting to bleed into your next time block also. So we are just about to wrap it up. Let me quickly go through focus and singleness of purpose, finding that purpose, setting that time. These are going to look very familiar. I was laughing as I was putting this together last night, because I'm starting to sound like a broken record, and I don't see that as a negative. I think understanding that the same process that can be shifted and worked on whatever topic that we're talking about is key, because when you get that process down once, you can apply it effectively, it shows up and is helpful in all sorts of ways in your life. Defining your core values. We talk about this all the time. Getting to know yourself. So now you know what are the things that you should be giving your focus to based on who you are, what you want, what you don't allow into your space, all of those things. The more clarity that you can have, the clearer you can be about who you are and what works for you, will really help you in deciding where and when to apply that focus. You want to set a primary goal. The primary goal, if we use Brian and the conversation that we've had with Dr. Marcia as an example, the primary goal is to be a great father, giving that child your undivided attention and making sure that Bree knows that she is the focus of your life. She's the most important thing. So that's your primary goal, the big ticket goal. Now, when you're making subsequent goals and you're deciding what to focus on and you're doing the things that you do, you have two measures already against the task. Is it a yes or is it a no? Does it align with my core values? Am I going to feel good about getting this thing done? Does it uplift who I am as a person? Does it add to my fulfillment? And does it hit my primary goal? If I do this the way that I'm thinking about doing it right now, is it going to move me towards being that great dad? Or am I about to tell this child that there's all these other things that I'd rather be doing, all these other things that are more valuable than her? Right? And how do we focus? We eliminate the non-essentials. So in that moment, as you're looking at your life, and you are clear about your core values, you have your primary goals set. Now you can assess all the things that are around you and determine which are the things that I absolutely need and which of the things are non-essential or distractions. Eliminate the distractions. Focus on the things that are important to you, aligning with your core values, hitting that primary goal, and all the other stuff gets put away. Maybe it's removed completely because it doesn't even align with your core values, or maybe it's just falling farther down on the priority list and it's not the thing that you're doing in this moment. How do we really get there? One of the things that we can do is to develop a daily focus practice. What that looks like for you is up to you. But Denise talked about her walking. Camille talked about getting up and having those 2 hours in the morning where she centers and takes care of Camille before she begins her obligations of taking care of all the other things that are a part of her life. We talked about taking those breaks, working for a period of time and then walking away from it. There needs to be a time in your day where you get quiet, where you get still, where you think about what's important to you. You can evaluate where things are going, or maybe you do nothing at all and you just allow that brain to rest. You'd be amazed at how creative you become in those spaces. When you shut the brain down and you teach yourself that it's okay to be still and to be quiet, to rest, to connect with your creator, those divine downloads, that's where the magic really, really happens. And then lastly, you want to do those regular progress checks. How am I doing? Denise at the end of her day yesterday said, look at you, girl. That was a thumbs up. That was the attaboy. That was a good job. You've done well. Those regular progress checks are important. It gives you the opportunity to celebrate those small wins, like the example Denise shared with us. It gives you the opportunity to adjust. I've gone through this day. I said my focus was my health, but I haven't gone outside. I've drank 2 sodas. I haven't had any water. I haven't done any exercise. I need to recalibrate. Those regular check-ins allow you to get honest with yourself, celebrate where you're doing well, and adjust where you're not. That's not a real example, Camille, so don't come after me. That is not a real example, I promise. But it illustrates what those regular check-ins can do for yourself. And it's not so much the external accountability, but it's us learning to be honest with ourselves, to celebrate ourselves, to practice grace on ourselves, and assess and adjust where necessary. The more internally you can do and get to know you and celebrate you and course correct for yourself, the stronger you are, because sometimes the external will be there for you, sometimes it won't. And I don't want to see you at the mercy of some external thing, person, event, the hand clapping and cheering of the crowd. It's all wonderful and it's great when we get it. But as we continue to adult and evolve, it's important that we're able to operate without it and operate at a high level without it. If I only feel good when somebody's telling me I'm great, what do I feel in those silent times? I don't want that roller coaster of emotion. So I have to find my greatness within. I have to be able to talk myself up when I don't want to get moving. I have to be able to celebrate those wins, even if it's like Denise said, look at you, girl. The sound of that just thrills me. That's you celebrating you. Amazing. So find time to define those core values and get the clarity that you need. Make sure that your goals are clear and you've got that primary goal when you're determining what you're going to focus on. Get rid of the distractions, eliminate those non-essentials, develop a daily focus practice so that you're retraining that brain and you're able to get quiet and create the space that you need to actually focus, and then check in with yourself on a regular basis. So those were the tips that I wanted to leave you with. A couple of other comments have came in. Anthony Mitchell said, I made it here. Welcome, 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 Anthony. We are glad that you did. And Alexis said, recalibrate, ongoing. Absolutely, absolutely. Let's see. Joy, my beautiful cousin Joy is with us, the real estate agent extraordinaire. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's great to see you, cousin. All right. I think I have seen all of the comments and we have done what we came to do. It is Friday. I am praying that the rest of your day is absolutely magical, that you focus on the things that matter, that you wrap up your week beautifully, and that you move through and into this weekend with grace for you and give yourself what you need to have the recharge so that we are ready to tackle next week and make the most out of that as well. So with that, hey, Joy says, hi, cousin, and good morning. Hello, beautiful. So with that, we are going to close our week. It's amazing that another week has gone by so quickly. I did change my banner at the bottom. It says join soarnow.com. So the SOAR Collective is the community that we are building. It is a subscription community, and folks are joining and they're getting daily motivations to start their day. Throughout the week, this week we did some breathing exercise examples, and they'll get resources and tools, and we'll do some check-ins at least a couple times throughout the week with content, and then we'll have some live sessions as well, our little mini masterminds to keep folks going. So we're building out this community. Would love to have you a part of it. It's an opportunity to really form connections with other people that are on their own personal journey, but like you, are doing the work to continue to expand and increase who they are and how they show up in the world, and are serious about not wasting this gift that they have called life. So if that's you, and if you want help and support along the way, the SOAR Collective is there and ready to embrace you and support you. You can go to joinsoarnow.com and become a part of the community as we're growing. The founding members are rolling in. It's only about 5 days old, if that many. So we're brand new, getting the community built, and I'm excited about it. And I'm so grateful for those of you who have already joined us. And we are going to blow this thing out and make sure that you are getting the things that you need to incorporate into your life in the way that works for you, so that you're experiencing true joy. You are prepared to soar, and you move from preparing to actually doing it. You spread your wings and take flight in the way that is unique to you, because the world will be better for it. So happy Friday to everybody. We will see you guys back here on Tuesday for Transformation Tuesday. Thank you, Joy. She says yes, and congratulations. Thank you, love. Thank you so much. And I can't wait to see you in Carlton. Give him a hug for me. Not from you, from me. That's you hugging him for me. I know you hug him all the time, but I haven't seen him in a while. So you have to share a little bit. Give him a hug for me. And hopefully we'll get together soon. And for the rest of you guys, happy Friday. Have a wonderful weekend. And we will see you all back here on Tuesday, 7:15 a.m. Central for Transformation Tuesday. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend.